I'm Heather from booktubes, and today's jealous and possessive romance recommendations. This is a favorite trope of mine. Can it be toxic? Absolutely. Do I prefer when it doesn't dive into trust issues between the love interest and the main character? Yes, I absolutely don't think that it's cool to accuse the person that you're in a relationship with of wanting to cheat on you or of trying to gather men's attention, or, you know, a lot of the things that can absolutely be shown in romance books. That doesn't really work for me so much. I don't mind you wanting to cut a guy's hand off because he touched your woman. I do have an issue with you taking that out on your girl, right? So these, I do already have this video. It will be linked. It's from last year. All of these are different from the ones that are in there, and some of my favorites of all time are in this video. The first one is Scarred Queens, which is The Queen's Number One by Nikita Slater. This is going to work for you if you like mafia, dark, alpha hole, very jealous and possessive, but there is a huge content warning for domestic abuse. Specifically, our main character is married to a different mafia boss, and he is abusive to her. Actively. You get some on page, you get some alluded to. It's clear that this has been happening for a very long time, and then you get this rival mafia boss who's like, she's the one, I'm going to take her. And it makes for a very interesting story, and you kind of get a full out mafia war, but huge content warning for domestic abuse and drugs also. And it has been a minute since I read this. I just read a novella in the same series, so I am reminded kind of this author's style, but it has been a while since I read this book, so if I missed any other content warnings, I do apologize, but it is definitely a dark romance and you should be aware of content warnings. Look into that before you read it. Next I have Dragonbound, which is Elder Race's number 1 by Thea Harrison. This is one of my all-time favorite paranormal urban fantasy romances. This is a dragon shifter. He's the only dragon in the world. He's extremely old, very powerful, and he displays a lot of the attributes that are often associated with dragons: possessiveness over his hoard, over anything that he views as his, which is definitely the main character, jealousy, arrogance, all of these things. And our main character steals something from his hoard and leaves a note. She was forced to steal something from his hoard and she felt badly about it. But one, he can't believe that she did it, that she got into his hoard and took something. Two, he can't believe that she left him a note. And so she gets on his radar and he's bound on finding her. And once he finds her, he's like, mate, this is my mate. And there's a bit of push and pull. I love this. I feel like if you like ACOMAF, you'll love this because you get the found family aspect with all of his sentinels, the people who work for him, who are also very powerful paranormals in their own right. You get this very dominant, all-powerful male who will do anything for his mate, anything, and I love it. Then I have Maybe Next Time, which is Vegas Nights number 1 by Christina C. Jones. This doesn't have as many jealous, possessive scenes in it, but they definitely do exist. And this is a marriage in crisis novella. It's Black love. It's so good. I should reread it. I say this every time I talk about it, but it's true. So they had a miscarriage, so there was a big content warning for that. The way that they dealt with their grief maybe wasn't the healthiest. And instead of it bringing them together, it did drive them apart. And now their marriage is over. She is filing for divorce. And he's like, no, you're not. And he maybe kidnaps her on vacation a little bit until she comes to her senses and realizes that they were meant to be together, that he loves her, will do anything for her, and this is not the way their story ends. Obviously, this could be very toxic. I feel like this can throw up red flags for stalker and marital rape and abuse and all of those things. But it's not. It's really not, because they truly are still in love with each other, right? This is a fictional story where both characters are actually still in love with each other, but they're having trouble, and it's gonna get fixed. And he's maybe going to show her that she belongs to him in the meantime. Next I had Bared to You, which is Crossfire number 1 by Sylvia. This is definitely my favorite of all of the billionaire 50 Shades-esque BDSM, trauma survivor, SA survivor, so be aware of those content warnings. Kind of that whole subgenre that sprang up because of 50 Shades of Grey. This is my favorite one. It's a 6-book series following the same couple. They are so toxic and I don't care. I love them. I reread the first book in December maybe, and I was just like, oh my god, just the toxicity is so bad. But I don't care. It's my favorite. This is definitely one of those books where it's like, I didn't say it was good. I said it was my favorite. It's one of those, but it is my favorite. Getting Across is a billionaire. He's tall, dark hair, blue eyes, 6-pack, abs, animal magnetism, force of will, you know, all the cliches. And then we have Ava, who is she's not really a socialite, but her mom is. Her mom is a trophy wife, period. And she is wealthy in her own right, but she works at an advertising agency and she has, you know, a traumatic past and is hiding from that past. So one thing that I really liked with their romance and the relationship being non-traditional, they both had like very severe insecurities and certain lines that were just very difficult for them because of their past and because of their issues. But like her being around rich people wasn't one of them, and I feel like that's such a common trope that no, you can't buy me a hamburger, I'm gonna buy it myself, even though you have $1 billion and I am going to go home and eat air. I have my pride. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. That doesn't exist in this one because she is used to being around money. It doesn't really bother her. And I like that. I liked that that wasn't just a massive conflict in the story that you often get. I don't know. I find it tired and worn out. I don't like when the conflict for the trope is just the same conflict as every other book in that trope. That's not what this is. And especially if you continue reading, you will get many, many jealous, possessive displays from both characters about each other, which again is something that I enjoy. I would say that my husband and I are both jealous and possessive. We do not share. We are not into sharing. We belong to each other and we're at the same level with it, so it's fine. It's very healthy. It's not stifling one person by trying to, you know, keep them in your clutches. It's two people matching each other's energy, and I like that. And I have Rushed, which is Adventurous in Love Number One by Aurora Rose Reynolds. This was a fun one. She gets left, not at the altar, I don't think, like a week before, and she had been dating this boy since she was in high school. Now, the thing I didn't necessarily love about this conflict is that her fiance is gay and is in love with a man who he was roommates with in college and has gone to visit him and has been cheating on her with him this whole time, but also wasn't out and had a very difficult time coming out. But I didn't love that he was kind of the villain of the story. It does get like addressed that she understands, but she really wishes he would have trusted her with it instead of maybe marrying her to be used as his cover, which I feel like her feelings were valid as well. I didn't love that that was the conflict. But so he leaves her, and she had scheduled a couples retreat that he had asked her to, and it's non-refundable, so she has to go by herself. And she has a romance with the guide who is ex-military and a survivalist and very rugged, and he is just like willing to pick up his entire life and go with her. Like, he knows right away. It's definitely insta love. But this is my favorite Aurora Rose Reynolds that I have read in a while, and I was really happy to kind of get that magic back with this particular release. And then lastly, I have Charge, which is Stillbones Motorcycle Club Number One by Kate C. Wells. I love Kate C. Wells. She is like my new favorite author. I'm just obsessed. I only have a few books left in the backlist, and I'm trying not to make it all the way through, but I'm truly obsessed. So this is her Motorcycle Club series, and Charge is, he's feeling a little insecure, right? He was dating the president's sister, who's the club's lawyer, and she is very boss babe energy, and she dumped him and hooked up with a rich guy, and you know, and he's feeling less than. And this young single mom moves in next door to his father, and he's helping her move in, and he's checking her out, and he's like, oh, this is gonna be great. And then he sees her son, and you know, ice water poured on. And the reason is he doesn't think that he has anything to offer a single mom, and he feels like he would be doing her and her son a disservice by just hooking up with her when he doesn't feel like he can offer her a relationship, and he feels like that's what they deserve. He has no business just messing around with her as a single mom. He has some instances where he gets really mad at her for not being careful enough, and he's kind of a jerk, but it's because he really wants to be with her. He can't be with her, and he's very worried about her and wants her to be safe. Is like, you can't be taking these risks. And it's very sweet overall. And she has a very toxic family, so be aware of a very rich, toxic family. They're not physically abusive, but are mentally and emotionally abusive. And she was raped at a high school party, so be aware of that. She had a child out of it. She hadn't realized that she was pregnant or any of the things. Her family didn't believe her, and then they basically took her child away from her, and she thought to get her child back that they are just like holding it over her head that if anything goes wrong, they're going to take her child back. So very toxic, horrible situation over there. And of course, Charge is going to help protect her from them and keep her safe and buy her a better vehicle. And you know, he's just very protective as well as jealous and possessive, and I love that combination. I love when people in relationships, whether it's the hero or not, are just protective and caring and want to provide for their person, even if that's literally just getting them a bottle of water out of the fridge. You know, I love that aspect. So he definitely fulfills that. So that's it. Those are my new jealous and possessive recommendations. I hope you enjoy. I do love this trope. I do love alphas. I read this type of thing frequently, and I do a lot of recommendations. So maybe subscribe. That's all I'm saying. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.